Welcome back, my friends, to another episode of TFT Hyperroll with Artark. Today's episode is going to be a little wackadoodle because it is another one of these games that doesn't really want to commit itself, and then even once it does, it's going to have to change. And that's really a lot of what this half of this season really wants us to do. It doesn't seem to like the build from scratch type of builds, although Guild will do that, and so will Lagoon, and so will Jade to some extent, but they will ultimately end up getting crushed if people can put together certain other combos that you absolutely cannot build from the beginning. Here, as you can see, I'm kind of toying with the standard Swift Shot Cavalier build. I get offered Thrill of the Hunt. It's not the 700, it's the 400, but I'll take it, and I really don't have anything to dissuade me from the Swift Shot Cavalier build. I can get my guild going, and that's usually a pretty good way to go. And I'll do this one in extra fast speed because we've seen it a million times. Cavalier, Swift Shot, Guild champions, yeah, they're gonna just tear through things early on. If you're gonna build something, start with this. If you can get it, you're gonna win. Item-wise, I already have my Sunfire Cape, so I usually like to build damage unless I get that little golden spatula, because that can turn into a lot of cool things later on. We got a couple of fights coming up here at back-to-back speed because you kind of know how they're going to turn out, but I like to show the complete match, at least in terms of each battle, so you see what I'm facing, what I'm up against, and how the build I have is doing against it. So Battle 1, pretty easy. Battle 2, kind of the same thing. They have an Astral build going, but nothing really compares to that Guild Cavalier Swift Shots early on. Item-wise, you do want to be thinking about damage, so you have the Sparring Glove or the BF Sword, as either choice will be good. I tend to go with BF Sword because I have a few more possibilities from it, since it can be turned into a Bloodthirster or an Infinity Edge if I get a Sparring Glove later on, but I tend to like to go with that as a priority. For positioning, keep your Swift Shots on opposite sides for exactly this reason. That Kiana is able to come in and get to my Twitch, but it doesn't matter because Ezreal keeps doing his thing from a distance. For augments, obviously, anything guildy, if you're going in this direction, is going to help. Again, I said this game is going to change before the end, but at this moment, I'm still thinking it's Guild Swift Shots. I've done it a million times before. It works really well. I've got two 2-star Twitches. I've got two 2-star Sejuanis. It's time to just switch out a Swift Shot. Varus is better than a 1-star Ezreal, so in he goes. I went ahead and put a Spear of Sojin onto Varus just because he can cast more often, since that's some nice CC. Your positioning will look something like this. It's so everything can get held in front of your Swift Shots, and your Swift Shots are separated for maximum speed. And speaking of speed, that bow will go perfectly with the needlessly large rod we have on the side to create a Rage Blade on Twitch, who, if you notice at the bench, we're just one away from getting a gold Twitch, which will be really nice. But again, this is stuff you've seen before. You've just picked up the Zippy. You know where this is going in some sense, but it's gonna have a twist. Right now, the plan in my head is to use that spatula along with that chain vest to create a Cavalier emblem for Zippy. I think I'm going to get through this team no problem, but this particular combination can be pretty nasty, especially when you have a Yone like that can actually beat us. And even though I didn't expect to lose, it's not time to panic. We now have our 3-star Twitch. We can get a 2-star Ezreal, a 2-star Lilia. We're looking pretty good for the build we're originally going for. Here's someone running the 4 Scale Scorn, which is actually a little more powerful than you first think it is. The Scale Scorn Guardian build has been in lobbies a lot. It doesn't necessarily win in the end, but it can do really well mid-game. As you're about to see, Lilia can be really, really effective. And it's time for our final augment, and it offers me a Cavalier crest, which in some ways I want to take, but I'm hoping for a little more healing. Was hoping for a Thrill of the Hunt 700 to stack on, but I get Second Wind. Okay, got a second Zippy. I roll, see the Sejuani, get annoyed at myself because if I had taken that Cavalier buff, I'd now have a gold Sejuani. Then I see the Shin and figure, you know what, I'm abandoning this whole Swift Shot Guild concept. Stupidly sell the Ezreal because the Ezreal would have paired well with Shin since Shin is a Tempest, but we'll try this. Now, an early Shin is really never going to be a bad thing, especially once they cast. The Tempest is going to stop the team for a moment, and then when Shin casts, pretty much everything just dies. Now, it is Treasure Dragon time, but the entire concept of the build has changed. So we're no longer thinking about guild items and all of that, but this is just too good to turn down because we have the enhanced Runaan's Hurricane for Twitch, and then we can get a Hextech Gunblade onto Shin, which is going to help heal the entire team. I also think, you know what, it's time to just start picking up some dragons and seeing if we can turn this into a dragon build. So while originally the plan was to take that Chain Vest and Spatula and make a Cavalier emblem for Zippy, why don't we say hello to Cavalier Itis? Because that sounds like it could be crazy. Our Shimmer Scale item is the Needlessly Big Gem. We just go ahead and put that right onto Itis because I'm pretty sure she'll be able to live for the full 15 seconds. Zippy is not going to be a part of this build anymore, but Shyvanna might. Shyvanna might. Now here's that team with the annoying Yone that beat us earlier. They're still at 20 health, and now they have a Soraka on the team. We all know what happens when Soraka casts when you're at 20 health, right? And guess what champ it chooses? Goodbye, Twitch. My 3-star gold Twitch. But when Shin casts, teams die. Their Yone is gone, and once Yone is gone, we actually hit the victory. So we're now up to stage 8, and it's time to consider the big change. Do we want to go to a 3-dragon team? And the answer is, yeah, why not? And now I think it's time to get Gary involved. I got the champion duplicator, a more Melicon over for Shyvanna because then she can burn the things that she's already burning. We're rolling to see if we're going to use that champion duplicator on Shin or maybe on a Shyvanna. I'd prefer the 2-star Shyvanna, but without any other choice, Shin's going up to 2 stars now. Now I have 3-starred my Sejuani and my Twitch, so I kind of want to keep them in this match to go along with that guild heart, so I'm getting the buff. But right now, this group is working really well together. And I feel like I say this every episode, but here's a Darkflight team I don't understand. Why are they sacrificing their 3-star gold Kiana on their assassin build? There had to be a better way to do it than to lose their 3-star unit and ultimately just get destroyed. I don't know, but it does lead us into the top 4. So now with this weird build, I'm in a little bit of a quandary. I found a Terra, and I'd kind of like to bring Terra into the match, but I also have a Rakan that's bringing my Rage Wing up to 4. If I bring in Terra, I'd have to get rid of Rakan in order to keep Sejuani and Twitch, and they seem really effective, although ultimately it's Shin who's winning the matches, because when Shin casts, teams die. And I think it goes without saying, don't ever try and force something like this, because to really hope for a 2-star Shin, a Shyvanna, a 2-star Itis, and a 3-star Twitch and 3-star Sejuani, it's not going to happen in every game. There's a lot of luck that's going to be involved in putting this together, getting just the right items in just the right circumstance. But if you see the opportunity, go for it. It's really strong late game. And it's now down to a 1v1 against a Mirage Guardian team with a Cavalier 2-star Yasuo. So that is why I'm spreading everyone out a little bit more around so that Yasuo can't come in and just knock everyone up and ruin my entire day, because this is a very strong team, but they managed to get a little stuck on my Twitch there, and then the Tempest kicks in, and that allows Shin to cast, and I'm not going to say it again, but you know what happens to their team when Shin casts, and very quickly it's down to just Deja against the rest of my team, and that isn't going to last long, and it is GG for everyone. I hope you enjoyed this crazy match, and as always, hope you have an absolutely awesome day.